what's going
Nothing much. How's your day going?
on? If my software would work properly, but it would be great. But for some
Oh.
reason, it takes a while for it to heat up and do what it's supposed to do. So I'm just trying to do other things around it. But it's, you know
Oh.
how it's your main software that you need to do other things.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's
Well,
fine. How's your day
oh
going?
dear.
Solid.
Yeah, so far so good. So far so good.
Um,
Um, oh gosh. All right. So I guess we have to thank Ablavi for today's topic. Um,
yes, we do. Thank you, Bobby.
Yes, and for anyone who was tuning in for the reviews of Welcome to Plathville and My Big Fat Fabulous Life, we'll be doing an upload of that within the next couple of days so that you can see those at your leisure. Um,
Yeah.
Anything else going on today? Let's see who's in.
I mean,
Let's see who's in the room. Oh, Queen Bee, she'll catch us later. Yay. Hey, Gina
mhm.
Maxie, my trivia buddy. Hey, Willow. Hey, Susan. Hey, Black Lavender. Um, that's it for now. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Um, any good highlights? I want to try and keep this as
For
positive as
me,
possible.
I think the biggest highlight for me is this whole YouTube thing. Something I never thought I would get into.
That's true.
But it's just not my thing overall.
Hmm.
But I kind of felt like maybe just this would be something that I could do to fulfill the creative part of my mind I really don't use because I just don't use it because my work is logical. It's black and white. My thinking is the same way. So I'm like, well, let's try this and just like you like reality TV, cool. Like so you find some people to talk to about it. So that's been fun, and then just having seen this go from something we didn't think would be much of anything. We were hoping for
Hmm.
like maybe 10 subscribers. We were like, yay! And to see it grow and to have met other creators and talk to
Hmm.
them behind the scenes, get their thoughts, like give them my opinion on things when they ask, and just to hear the feedback about our channel and what we do, plus our subscribers, like all pretty much all positive,
Hmm.
which is what I wasn't expecting. They're like you're going about it the right way. I like your content because it's honest and you allow people to talk and like everyone gets to like give their opinion, and it just seems like people aren't afraid to be honest. I'm like, well, yeah, like I think honesty is always best. No sense beating around the bush
Hmm.
because if you lie in the beginning, you have to remember your lie, and I don't have time for all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just I just really don't have the time or the effort. So, you know, that being that, I've also learned how people use social media. Like people use like all three social media platforms together, which has been very interesting. I
Hmm.
just started using Twitter. I'm like, them Twitter streets is dangerous. I'm sorry, they just are. I'm like, I'll
They
stick to the
are.
DMs and I'll like a tweet here. I'll like a tweet here or there, but that's about it.
But you know what? If
So
you
it's
go
good.
on Twitter and any of the shows that we watch and go on Twitter while the show is on, it is the best.
I know I need to
I've
do that.
Yes, I've engaged so much more than I thought, and this was before coming on YouTube. Twitter was my
Hmm.
thing, and then like I kind of
Oh,
came,
okay.
yeah. Then I found like YouTube because this is something like I came to it because I wanted somebody to talk to. Quite honestly, I'll be
Mm,
very honest. And Adam was one of the kindest people who I felt safe enough to go and talk with. And through Adam, Up and Adam, his channel, I was able to meet, like, not really meet, but engage with a whole bunch of other people and learn from their
hmm.
perspective. Because with COVID, I kind of isolated and it became a bit lonely. For the first time in my life, I was a bit lonely. And
Yeah.
I'm not used to being that way. I'm in hospitality.
Right.
You're supposed to be extroverted. And I kind of
Yeah.
turned inward. And YouTube, I don't know about anybody else in the chat, but YouTube really was an outlet for me, a surprising outlet. And I'm very happy that it turned into this. This allows me to talk to people for a few minutes per day. And it's a welcome escape, quite honestly.
Oh yeah. It was just amazing to find people who actually watch the same shows you do, and then like you actually get to talk about it. Because at work, my coworkers like, I don't watch that show, or like, you watch that. I was like, okay, never mind. You won't get it. You
Yeah,
don't understand the excitement. So to
yeah.
find a community of people who actually watch the same things, um, it's great. Particularly since I have to work from home now. Like, I can't go into my office.
Mhm.
So I work from home. I literally have YouTube on. I'll have maybe like 4 or 5 lives. Like, I'll have them all open. I'll listen to one, comment, then I'll mute that, hop over to another tab, and just do that. YouTube is more entertaining than TV now. I
It is.
mean,
There's more
between the
variety.
content, yeah, the content, the creators, the drama, is like, really? I mean, no, like, y'all really arguing about this? Of like, okay, like, there's some creators I know who are involved, and I'll be like, they'll ask my opinion behind the scenes. I'm like, look, this is not something I do. I
Mhm.
don't do drama. It's unnecessary. Focus on your channel and your content. If you're not, I feel like if you're not involved directly, don't get involved. Like, you can give
Mhm.
your opinion and say your thoughts, but don't insert yourself. It's unnecessary. Um, I'd rather put out good content, focus on my content, like, find new shows to watch, like,
Yes.
interact with our subscribers, interact with you.
Mhm.
Just, I think YouTube should be fun. I mean, is the drama can
Mhm.
a drama be entertaining when it's like little petty drama? Yes, but when it goes into like offline real world stuff, I'm like, you no, I'm not doing it with you. No, I'll distance myself.
Mhm.
Um, because I really feel, and I've said this in other lives, like, I feel that when you are a creator, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard of how you present yourself. You
Mhm.
know, you can be honest, but you should not be in like fighting with other people. It doesn't help you. It doesn't make you look good. You
Nah.
know, some things don't need to be said. Some things should be handled behind the scenes. That's just my opinions. Um, the only outlier for me is like, if you want to address me publicly, then I'll address you publicly, and then we could do what it do.
Mm.
But other than that, keep it cute, keep it easy, have fun, support each other.
Yeah.
So,
And meet lots of nice,
we're
great people online in a
yeah,
safe space.
Miss Pretty really. Yeah, Miss Pretty Random is right. YouTube dramas were lit though. They really were. I'm not gonna sit here in front. I'm just like, you did what? And and like, I don't know if you guys are on some of you are on Twitter. Then when Twitter when like, I'm not sure if you follow, but when the YouTube dramas go over to Twitter, it's a mess. It's like,
Listen,
because
you have to be
go
scared of
ahead, go
Twitter,
ahead.
though. You have to be scared of Twitter. And if I'm scared of some of the shenanigans that go on YouTube, if they migrate over to Twitter, I'm done. I can't do it.
Oh, because see, what I've learned is, and I've learned this from watching drama channels and some drama creators. What happens is, like, stuff will go down on um YouTube, but the receipts are generally on Twitter first. So you
Mm.
gotta go over to Twitter with all the receipts, and there's certain like Twitter channels like who are great, and they be putting like, you make some of them mad. They got all the receipts. I'm like, oh no, oh, you lied. Because I'll be saying like, what's going on here?
You.
I'm like, what's this? Okay, no, because I'll have my opinions on some things. Because I'm friendly with some people. I'm like, let me look into all aspects. Let me go to Twitter. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, this person lied. That's unfortunate.
So, do you agree with
Miss
Miss Pretty Lee Random? I feel like Twitter gets it first.
So I agree, but it depends on the accounts. Because there's certain accounts who have the receipts
Oh,
first. But
okay.
then there are YouTubers who get the receipts and post them there. But 9 times out of 10, I agree with Miss Freely Random. But some of those accounts they need to be on it. I'm like, you're bad. I ain't mad at you, but it's just
Mhm.
fun to see like what you did what said what. So it's been entertaining, but it's just not something I would want to be involved in. I love our what we do, our content. It's fun. Like we have great conversations. So um, I've heard a couple of people on Black Twitter. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready to go there yet.
Black Twitter is lethal.
I'm not
They come like the beehive in mass.
right. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Like I'm new to Twitter. Like I'll retweet some things I think are positive and good. I'll like a
Mhm.
few tweets. I'll respond. I'll do some DMs. But I knew I'm not trying to be up in them streets. Yeah. Mm-mm. But it's been this whole social media thing of learning about just this year is like, whoa, okay, I get it now. I see how they work together. I used to
Mhm.
see them as their own separate entities
Mhm.
versus working all together into a union. I'm like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Mhm.
Like, I want to know, like, have you ventured outside of reality TV community at all? Do you watch any other like channels?
On YouTube?
Yeah, are there any other channels like you found that you really like?
Um, I piddle around a bit. I have fallen into the vortex of how to transition to gray hair because that's something that I'm interested in doing now, which is really boring and no one else cares about. What else have I watched on YouTube? Oh, I've also gotten sucked into the vortex of watching little puppies, which is again
Uh,
dumb, but I love to watch them getting groomed. There's so many Asian grooming puppy channels, it's ridiculous.
mhm.
I never got into the makeup channels, which is quite
Okay.
evident. But there are a lot of them out there.
Oh,
Um,
there's a lot.
yeah. What else do I watch? No, I just basically have a few favorites. I have All About the Tea. I have Up and Adam. I have DJ Richie Sky. Love him. Actually, I was watching him just before this.
Same.
Um, what else? Who else do I really like on here? Oh, Nikki Star TV. I find her so
Mm.
entertaining. I love Jolene and Busy Blue. They're super fun. I basically like something that can either make me laugh or help me find a new perspective on something. I've
Right.
listened a little bit to Sad Star Podcast, who comes on here a lot, and
Mm.
AT2. And of course, now that you're the king of the Housewife Hunger Games, I have also watched the real Andy of Beverly Hills. He's a lot of fun, and I just like to see whether he's driving or just sitting in the car or somewhere random. That's all. Anything distracting.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly. For me, I'm looking at my account now. I'm subscribed to over 125 channels, and they're all like a little bit different. Some of my favorite ones is Mysterious Tea. Actually a mod for her channel, so she's
Hmm.
great. She has a very artistic way of um doing her videos, which is awesome. I'm a huge fan of Creepshow art. Like she's
Hmm.
hilarious. And if you guys haven't seen her, the way she does her videos, it's like she's drawing with her commentary while she's
Hmm.
drawing, but you don't see her. It's
She's mainly an
it's so
artist, isn't
artistic.
she?
Yes. Who
Okay.
else have I found? I
Charlotte,
like
you told me
Opti
about Charlotte
Charlotte. Yeah, she's a commentary. She's very good. Love her.
and the lawyer lady.
Um,
I've watched her. Baker.
Emily D. Baker. Oh,
Yes,
she's hilarious. The cursey
she's
words.
good. She
Yeah,
is
the cursey
super
words.
good. Yeah.
And I was mentioning
Um,
Optimus. He's a
mhm,
gaming channel who does commentary, who's like really really good. I'm naming people like you haven't named because we already know. Like
mhm,
I'm on their channel, so I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of another view. Spell Sesh, she's a T channel. She's really good.
mhm,
True Sleuth, Drama and Opinions. If you want something a little different, Ready to Glare is very good.
mhm.
She's commentary, but she does things outside of YouTube, which is really really good. I like her channel. Let me find one more for you guys. Oh, Aphrodite. Just found him recently, and he's like a tarot reader for pop culture people. He's good.
Oh,
He's very very good. I like him a lot. Yeah, so those are the ones I've been following. To trying to there's just so much out there. Like between the two of us, we've named like so many channels, and there's
I
just so
know.
much out there, and it's been such a blessing to have YouTube and to be now that we're creators and we have our own community and our subscribers are fantastic. They give us ideas as well. They join the conversations. So I couldn't be happier.
Okay. So wait, did you mention drama and opinions?
Yes, she's
Yes. Okay.
very good. Magda.
Okay. All right. So let's see who else. Make sent any. Oh, yeah. I think this means Shannon Van. Yes, Shannon Van has her own channel,
Yeah,
and she does
it most
something
definitely.
similar to us, but she also like takes you around, out and about Vancouver. She does more pop culture than we do. Yeah, she has a really great channel. Go over and support Shannon
Yeah,
Van.
I love her.
The
I think it was
beer.
like where she was. No, it was the tour by the ferry,
Hmm.
by the water.
Like down.
She did a
I'm
tour.
assuming it was
Yeah,
downtown. Hmm.
yeah, like outside. It was like great views. I'm like, oh, this
Hmm.
is like a that's gorgeous. I'm like,
Makes you
I
want
like
to go
people
to
who vlog.
Vancouver.
Yeah, like people who vlog because you get to see places because you can't travel there.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, I kind of like that. I haven't found like any like actual vloggers yet.
This is one of my favorites. He does the pop roast with Chris, and Chris also has his own channel. Alexander Rogers, he's hilarious. He literally
Ah,
spent the whole summer in Vegas in his pool. I kid you not. I thought he was going to roast himself at one point. He's so funny. I he started out in New York, but I think he lost his dog and he
mm.
just picked up and moved to Vegas in the middle of the
Oh, okay.
pandemic. Yeah. Um,
Wow.
and he does a lot of commentary and reading people for filth. I love it. He's very
you
funny. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, then we started our second channel, which is people are like working on their videos to send us their videos, which is kind of fun. They were just like, I'm so glad you're doing this. No one helps us. I'm like, it's not problem. It's just like you just simply upload it, and we just trying to help us help you help everyone. So it's good. I mean, it's good. I mean,
Okay,
can't
so
complain.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link again. And if anyone has anything that they want to talk about that happened in 2020 in pop culture or anything, you want to talk about, dial in and we'll give it a whirl. But some of I tried to make this positive, but it didn't turn out that way. So some of the items that came across my mind that stuck with me throughout this year was kind of like Kobe Bryant's passing. I remember I was in a Starbucks drive-through when that happened, and I
I was at
didn't
work.
believe it.
Me neither.
Um, the
I'm
the
like, I'm
passing.
like,
Mhm.
I was
No,
like,
go
quit
ahead.
lying. I
Yeah,
was at work and then came across I'm like, quit lying. Like that's not something to play with. And then I turned. They're like, no, literally, turn on the news. I'm like, so I had to went to open a new tab and just. I'm like, whoa.
I didn't believe it
I was
until
like,
TMZ
wow.
confirmed it. That's how ridiculous this was because it took me back to when Michael Jackson had died, and TMZ was the first to bring that out, and I was like, nah, not happening. He can't be dead. And So now if something like that happens, that it's just like, whoa, I wait till TMZ confirms it. That's so weird how one
You know,
incident can shape the way how you take in information.
do you remember how TMZ used to be like Perez Hilton? Like, we don't believe in you. You're not
Mm-hmm.
reputable. But now, like now everyone like the TMZ. If TMZ ain't said that, we not buying it. But
Yes.
then, like, but when TMZ came out, we all just, I think we all kind of just fell out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So another thing that struck me was the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Like she did so much for women throughout her decades. Um,
Hmm.
and she will be missed. I like that
Oh yeah.
that lady, and all like I can't even do like a tenth of what she did in her lifetime. So I'm very much appreciative of her. Um over God, this is just so horrible, but George Floyd's death and the BLM protests throughout the year, I think it shaped this year for a lot of people. Although it was a tragic situation, that and many more tragic situations that happened to men and women of color this year at the hands of the law enforcement, I
Hmm.
think it was pivotal in how it shaped a lot of our thought processes moving forward this year amongst the pandemic.
Hmm.
What else did I have down here? Oh, Chadwick Boseman died. God, I can't,
Yeah,
like,
that
my
was.
list is so bad. Um, oh, wait, The Tiger King, which I didn't watch, but everybody was asking me
Right.
if I watched it, and I didn't. Um, uh, Harvey Weinstein got sentenced to jail. Yay, that was part of the Me Too
Hmm.
movement.
Yep.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepping back from
Yep.
royalty. You could tell that I'm stretching it now. Um, let's see. The Borat movie, for those people who like Borat. The Wonder Woman 84 movie that just came out. I'm not sure whether people like that or not. And what I put this in for my brother, Bob Dylan selling his entire music catalog for over $300 million.
Right. I mean, those
Mm-mm.
are like the big issues of the year. Um, I mean, to me, like the year, I'm glad it's almost over. I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful. I'm grateful for the good things that came out, but the bad things, I just, oh, for me, just overall, I just want this to go. Um, I'm good at this point
Yeah.
with this year. This year, like, it's not one, two that's gonna go down. It'll go down in the history books for not the right reasons. No,
Yeah.
for not all the right reasons. I'll put it that way. But it was good. Since we've done that, I wonder if we can shift to a different topic, if you don't mind. I think
Well,
we covered the year.
I've got a Blavy in the
Go ahead.
background. Do you want to do your topic
Okay,
first
go
and then
ahead.
bring up a Blavy?
No,
See.
I mean, we can bring her up.
Hey,
Hello.
Blavy.
Yeah, I'm in the bed.
It's
Um,
okay.
yeah, it was a late night.
Mm.
Anyways, no, it wasn't late like that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
A girl can dream. A girl can dream.
I just wanted to really talk about the mess.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I wanted to talk about this year. All these celebrities fronting and faking about how much money they had, and everybody selling their catalog and everything else. This was the year of who's broke? Everybody. They were ridiculous this year.
And the proof of that was what's that the web page where people not Cameo, just for fans or OnlyFans. That's
OnlyFans,
that's how
OnlyFans.
you know who is broke.
OnlyFans dragged a lot of people. They dragged your NBA stars. They
Mm-hmm.
dragged your football stars because they both broke. Everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. I was like, I'm feeling good out here with my little savings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we got to talk about Kanye West and his lies and lies, lies. I don't
I
know
forgot
how
his
this man,
meltdown.
I don't know how this man is still annoying in a
Hmm.
lockdown.
Mm,
He's a
You
genius.
know?
That's
true.
why.
And then everybody was lying about their money, especially those Kardashians, talking about they billionaires when they not. And another thing I wanted to say is a lot of people are selling their businesses, and I think that's because they're fraudulent. There was too many celebrities selling their businesses, selling their masters, some losing their jobs, aka Nick Cannon, um, running their mouth about nothing they wanted to know. Then, you know what else this year has proved to me?
Hmm.
How unentertaining television is. Oh my God. You know what I was watching this pandemic? Paternity Court.
Hold on.
That was the most interesting thing.
Oh my
Are you
God.
serious?
Yeah.
Not paternity court.
Yeah, it was better than
On that note,
Maury Povich and Jerry Springer. That used to be my two.
Hmm.
But no, Paternity Court
oh
came in
yeah,
for the
oh
win.
yeah, that was all of ours.
Ridiculous. Then we had to get into um, you know, what is this with the movies? I've been waiting all year to go to the movies, and every movie I've seen is BS. They're gonna have to do better than this in 2021. I want to be entertained. I want to be swayed. I want to feel the emotions. I want to see the tears. I want to see the anger. No, I'm not okay with this half patch this year. And then also, if we're going to talk about this year, where is my check, Donald? Where is it?
I heard some people saw like the pending transaction drop into their like their bank accounts, but it's not going to be available until the 4th of next year, like the 4th of January next month.
Listen, they need to give us that $2,000. And if he was really smart, he would have given it just before election. But nonetheless, give us our $2,000 and let's get it on. Write us our check. I mean, these greedy politicians act like we taking it out of their account. Mitch, bitch, cash me my check.
True. I mean, it is our tax money that they're giving back to us. If you really want to break
Right.
it down, it is our tax money. And they had no problem when in 2017 they gave that huge tax break to the 1%, which sent us up even more into the trillions of dollars in the deficit. I'm not part of the 1%. I would like to get a little piece broken off for me.
Listen, 2000, listen. You see how crazy the stock market is?
Mhm.
Everything is going up, but every company has sold less products except for Amazon, Apple, a few others. Cut me my check and stop playing games. You
Mhm.
you know $600 is
That's
going to do
Lavi is
nothing.
not here for it.
That's right.
It's ridiculous. I don't even understand why this is an issue. What was six? At least they could have done 1,200 again, but 600. This is what I mean with them.
No, and the Republicans' rationale with that was that they didn't want the entire stimulus package to be over $1 trillion. And if they had done the $1,200, like how they had done earlier in the year, it would have gone over $1 trillion. So they brought it down to $600, and it came out at
It's not just the
900.
Republicans. Throw out the
Um,
Democrats too, because they on the news right now telling people, "Oh, 2,000 is not. There's too much money." I was cursing them out this morning on the CNN. They
oh
was
my
like,
God,
"Oh,
which
that's
which
so
which
much."
Democrats are those? I'm not going to vote for them.
Those are the ridiculous ones. They all get on my nerves. I'm sick of the Democrats. I'm sick of the Republicans. I'm sick of Joe Biden. I'm sick of Trump. I just want my goddamn money.
Mm.
I don't care who's going to
Oh
be
my
in
goodness, yeah,
office.
this is
All I want is my money. I want to be able to travel. I'm sick of being in New York and having the rats um, as my only entertainment of the week. week running from the rats that look like Pomeranians. I'm just sick of it.
Well, hopefully, we will be able to move about again soon. Life will return to some sort of
But
normal.
no. Listen, January's already looking good because again, the stand mixer comes January 13th.
Oh my gosh.
So
I
that's
love
what
it.
we gotta
The
look
stand
up
makes
to.
coming.
Yeah, because I couldn't get a lot of my Christmas stuff because it was a 2 week delay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Because you know me, I really was acting up this year. It was like December 20th, and I was like, Christmas again. So I just had to give everybody cash. I just couldn't be bothered because Target. You know what? That's another thing we need to discuss. Why do people who don't know how to raise their children always in Target with their child whining and crying? It's like it's time for child free hour at Target.
yes. I'm with the Blobby. I think. Well, here's my thing. I think kids should be banned from Target. Sorry.
What?
Yes, because have you been to Target with children? It's insane. I'm like, the last time I went to Target, it was just kids running around everywhere, like pulling stuff down. I'm like, I can't do it. Mm-mm. No.
I know
They so bad.
I was in a Target. This was many years ago, even before they called it Target. And I saw a woman with her kid in full on meltdown, and she walked away first, and I was just like, "Oh my god, really?" Doing the "I don't see you" kind of thing. And then she came back around the aisle and she dragged up that kid and shook him and said, "Behave!" And then she saw me and she was just like scared. And I was like, "Brava, carry on." And she just took off with her kid. But who am I to judge? That's as long as you're not killing the kid. You've got to discipline him. He was behaving badly, like throwing himself all over the floor because he couldn't get something that he brought from some other aisle or something like that. She said no. She said no.
Mm.
I have a
Listen,
question.
go ahead. They
Uh,
think Target is a playground. They be playing all in it, hide and seek, this,
yep.
that. The kid the other day I went, he was acting such a fool. I dropped a play and they were like, "You have to pay for that." I was like, "No, go tell his mother." With his jumping up and down the aisle.
Mm.
True. I was wondering, can we like talk about Andy Cohen now?
Ugh.
I've been telling y'all all year he needed to lose his job. So I'm getting a little irked that now people on the let's boycott Andy.
But we agreed with you though. Like we
Mm-hmm.
agreed here we agreed with you. We said I'm like, look, remember Bobby?
Mhm.
You were in charge of casting. I was gonna take over
Mhm.
production so I could set up the fake scenes properly. We talked
Mhm.
about this.
Well, here's
We
the
talked
thing
about
with
this.
Andy, I don't know how what happened, but he's not in Bravo anymore. He's like, I guess, part of production now, so maybe that will, I don't know. He I don't think he lost his job, but he didn't renew whatever title he had before.
You know what it is? He's no longer like an executive. He's
Okay.
now talent.
Oh.
Right.
So it's different. Like he doesn't have the control of creating shows because once he decided to involve himself, like doing the reunions and Watch What Happens Live,
Mhm.
they had to reassign him because you can't be an executive plus be on screen at the same time. So they kind of shifted him over from being corporate to being in the talent pool. And he lost his corner office at that.
Listen, Andy will be all right, you know?
Hmm.
He will be all right. He and all the rest of them. You know what? And if we're talking about throwing Andy in the dumpster, they can throw some of those executives at TLC in the dumpster too. Because it's getting mighty boring in that 90 Day Fiance thing. They need to shake that up.
Bobby, I'm telling you, we need to get on these DMs, start 2021, get on the
But
production team.
I really do think reality television is done this year. I really do.
Or do you think that we're just too knowledgeable. Like we could see it coming from a mile away.
No, I think what it is they keep recycling storylines, and they're soap opera writers thinking that this is Days of Our
Mhm.
Lives
Yeah.
every season. And we just need fun girls. Like, you know how I said I wanted attractive people? That's not necessarily true. Because I like Jersey Shore and they're very plain looking. Not now, but when they first came out.
Who, the Housewives?
No, Jersey
No,
Shore.
Jersey. Yeah, Jersey
Well,
Shore.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they were just children coming
Mhm.
to play around. So yeah.
But that's kind of hard when they get older, you know? Like, if you're going to do a
Oh yeah.
Jersey Shore, you have to do it like the real world. Like, you need new people every few years.
Agreed. Same with Housewives though. Like, I mean, I respect. Like, I go back to Candy on this one. I respect Candy. Love me some Candy, but I don't need to see you for 13, 14 years.
I think what they need to do in the Housewives is they need to get they need to fire everybody and get women who are younger, because a lot of the housewives are in their 50s, and girl, you doing it at 50. But if you're not going to be for the kids, if you're not going to read and roast and kiki, then I don't want to see 50-year-olds with 3-year-olds unless it's your grandchild. Like, I just hate that. Oh, I want a baby. Why can I have a baby and a husband? And oh, I want the baby. I don't need to hear that no more.
Okay, so Queen Cascade is in the back room. I'm going to bring her up. Hello, Queen.
Hello. Good evening,
Hello.
everybody. Good evening,
Good
everybody in the chat.
evening.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, go on.
Nothing much. What's happening with you?
I'm alive, continuing to survive.
Oh, by the way, I
Okay.
loved the post on Instagram earlier where you were in like some camouflage outfit and you were all geared up to go out in the snow. It totally gave me Mary J. Blige vibes.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Loved it.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. Bring some Mary J through.
That's right.
Um, I was busy doing some other
Sorry.
things. I've just come in the last minute. So
Mm-hmm.
I heard you guys talking about Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So what, in
Yeah,
regards to Andy, what is it that we're talking about? Sorry.
Well,
He
we're
needs
talking
the
he needs to
cut.
go.
yeah, the cancel Andy, his behavior on these reunions. It just doesn't feel like he's done the research.
Mhm.
And it also feels like he's targeting certain, like he has a bias
Yeah.
in his
Hmm.
hosting capabilities.
I
Oh,
think for me with Andy, yeah, I think he should go. I think we're at that point where, and I don't know, hopefully I'm not repeating anything that anybody else has said, but we've had nearly 15 years of Housewives. And in general, when you look at, obviously, in terms of the Real Housewives concept, it was an interesting new idea to bring to the fold. And since that, because it's a great idea, other reality series have picked up on it and made their own branches. We've got Love and Hip Hop, and we've got, Basketball Wives, Ex-Wives of LA, and a whole heap of other things that I've probably never even watched. So I think at this point, there is time for a change. I think, was it last year or earlier this year when there was talking about a whole reshuffle and renewing things and making things gleam and gold and great again. So I think there was an expectation that we were going to get something revived and fresh and new, and that hasn't essentially happened. It's like storylines have been recycled. We've been doing the wheel for how long? And some people think that it shouldn't change, but I think times and where we're at the moment shows that it should change. In regards to Andy, yeah, I think it's time to go because yes, the biases, yes, he doesn't do the research, but also for me, I've picked up the fact that within Andy, I don't think he's in the circles that would give him the kind of kitchen table talk to be able to understand the issues within the Black community, to be able to present them properly. I know Andy has become the face of Bravo. But every face needs to change. Mona Scott stepped down. We had Samora. We had Monique. We've had other people like Claudia Jordan. Even is it Nina Parker? So I
Yeah.
think there needs to be somebody who's more relevant, who understands the cultural dynamics, who's willing to invest time in not necessarily being biased, but understands what the community is looking for in terms of questions being answered. Because between Andy and the production team, they've missed the ball. They've dropped the ball in a lot of places. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
When I saw the reunion and listening to Monique's interview on All About the Tea, there was a lot of information that Monique was able to give that was never in the reunion, but also made sense and correlated to certain behaviors that was on the show. So I think either they're looking to capitalize on it, or they need a panel of people that come from urban societies, doesn't necessarily have to be Black, but understand the cultural dynamics to be able to offer a wider perspective.
And
And they need to be Black.
Go
So
ahead, Abby.
sorry.
I said they need to be Black, particularly on that show.
It would
Because
make sense.
then you're going to go, then you're going to get, well, first of all, that show was boring, and I'm happy it's going to be canceled soon. Anyways,
Which show?
Potomac.
Is it being
It's going to be canceled?
It probably will. They probably have a few more seasons. It's just always been boring to me. I couldn't believe it was in 8 seasons. All we talked about all in that show is Michael and his questionable sexuality, Giselle can't keep in a man and her horrible fashions, Karen and her lying. That's all that show has been.
I think the dynamic between Andy's behavior with the other Real Housewives, just out the Caucasian housewives within Beverly Hills and Jersey, there's certain questions that he would never ask them that he's asked cast members, and that just shows up his bias, his elitism, where his affiliations are with certain cast members, the way that he seems to be protecting villains, or the villains of each franchise, bar like Nene and certain people. He seems to side with them. But I understand that there can be difficulty within this time of trying to do the right thing corporately and toe the line. But in the reunion, Karen brought up the fact of when Candice turned around and said that she'd called her boss and was trying to get her fired. And Karen brought up about within their contracts, there's room, or there's some clause for like psychological help or doctors. I think that's a really good thing that that's in their clause. It's just the same shame that they don't seem to be utilizing it the right way. And it's a fine line to kind of toe between dealing with a victim within the same situation of having Black Lives Matters, and you've got 2 cast members that are Black or African American, and trying to make sure that the victim's not the word I'm looking for, the victim's not victimized and still has their voice heard and it's dealt with accordingly. But it wasn't, I don't think via public opinion everything's been dealt the way that it could have been handled better. And Bravo should take this as a massive learning curve and something that they can learn from in terms of the public response. I think we've got great people like Monique. I don't know if people know about Funky Dineva, Quinton Latham. We've got lots of great hosts and presenters that could do the show. I think there needs to be
Quinton is problematic as well.
Say that again, Abalabi.
Quinton is problematic as well. Because he has I watch him and all, but he has a very, how to say this, he's very scared of people who, I don't know how to say this, who are very urban and come from rough beginnings. He has a very much bias, and he's too friendly with too many of those people.
I think even if it's a case of like, we can't pretend in certain circles that Andy isn't friendly. A lot of us nowadays, because of the way that social media works and 6 degrees of separation, we're able to contact, you know, bloggers at the drop of a hat, or have communication, or have relationships. But I think it's being able to step on the stage and ask the real questions that need to be asked, and conducting yourself in a certain way. Certain people that don't hold certain guards would be able to convey that in a way that Andy's not able to at this stage of the game. For me, it's very much like, okay, you've been the face for how long? I don't know if it's just me, but since maybe COVID, because he you know, there was a point in time when he was down with it. And in terms of fatherhood, his dynamic and his personality, to me, I haven't watched all of them, all of the branches and all of the What's Now lives, but his lines of questioning and things have seemed to change. I don't know if that's a case of because of production maybe at making the questions, but there definitely needs to be, like, say for instance, like you, Jamal, you, Miss Debbie, people that watch this, that understand the dynamics, understand from the perspective as the of the viewer, but also from the other perspective about how it shows on camera. For it to, I think there needs to be a new formula. We've rinsed, this thing's been cycled so much. They've got the chance to do something proper, or potentially lose parts of the franchise, because there's specific people that, you know, watch Atlanta, that kind of got into Potomac, and I think they did themselves a disservice by just doing Potomac. It could have been DC as a whole, or other areas, to be able to give that affluence.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamal. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Jamal.
So 2 things. They did DC and it flopped because a horrendous casting. It was just terrible.
Okay.
So that's why it got chopped off. But people wanted the DC area represented, so that's why they came up with Potomac. And this reunion reminds me of that tell-all that was tragic.
Which one?
It was the last tell-all, I think, with the last one was Larissa, where Sean asked no relevant questions, and you could tell she didn't watch the season. That's what this reunion of Potomac gave me. Nothing was, no good questions were asked. Because if I were Andy, I'm like, okay, so Giselle, let's talk about Canada's live. How did you feel about that?
Yeah.
And if she had said I didn't see it, like, I'd be like, roll the clip, go ahead, because y'all know y'all got it. That's the kind of reunion I want to see. Those are the questions I want to see answered, because that's what the people want. We want to know when y'all met, who in production was there. Robin, like, how you not know you had them taxes? These are the hard hitting questions we want to know.
Here's my thing with that. I completely agree with what you're saying, Jamal. But here's the problem I have with it. They had about 11 hours of taping. We saw 3.5 hours. Again, this goes back to the production company and how they edit, as well as Andy. But I'm going to go to the production company, because I thought there would have been a lot more of the binder, since it was, what, the 6th housewife up there, or 7th if you count in T'Challa.
7.
Like,
7.
right. You know, we should have seen more of that. But I think the production company cut and spliced, and I know that they changed up the sequence of things due to Ashley's hairdo. They changed up the sequence of things to create a narrative, which I feel they were trying to make Monique the villain for season 6.
Yeah.
And because they knew they were going to invite her back, they probably were also trying to set up another altercation between these two women, because I don't put anything past them. You know, they said, oh, this was, you know, ratings goal, even though it wasn't for the season. Why not rinse and repeat all over again? Because they're lazy. They are lazy. And they got a one-trick pony, and this is what they were setting up. And I don't think it was fair to anyone involved. And yes, I do agree with removing Andy, because I don't think he's invested or cares anymore, to be quite honest. Let him do his Watch What Happens live. He needs to be removed from the casting, from us, like socializing with these characters. He just needs to remove himself. and I would put forward one person. Y'all remember the early reunions of Basketball Wives? John Sally, I think he used to be a basketball player.
Oh, John Sally.
I liked him a lot. He was firm. He was respectful. He asked the questions that I wanted to hear based on the shenanigans of their seasons. I thought he did a really good job, and I think he could be good replacing Andy. Sorry, go ahead.
You know what it is? I was gonna chime in on that because what it was with John Sally, he would call the ladies on their BS. He was like, you know that didn't happen.
Yes. Yes, like he was watching right along with us.
That's the thing. With Andy, you can see where he wasn't informed in terms of like Chris and the amount of money that he makes, and Monique having to say, well, he has a good portfolio. It shows the fact that he hasn't researched.
Let me tell you, he knew that she was a woman of wealth. But let me tell you, this is where the white privilege come in. Because he was talking down to her and saying, what do you mean? You know, he's not making that kind of money anymore. So all Black men who used to be in sports are broke by the time that their teams have worn them out and sent them home brain damaged. Is that what you're trying to say? He talked down to her the whole time. Then he was saying, oh, are you a singer?
I think what also pisses me off is, in terms of that, like you said about the binder, because I saw her on All About the Tea when Monique was saying that she basically read the filth. Because I was wondering why she had like the prune face and the neck, and it got worse and it got worse, and she looked like a dry shriveled prune by the end. So I was like, well, that kind of reaction for what we've just seen doesn't make sense. So more has had to have happened. So when Monique was saying that she read her for filth for 20 minutes straight, I was like, well, I wanted to see that because she needs to be read. She needs to be brought down to a peg or two. As well as she said, there was more in the binder that she had spoken on. So everybody's obviously interested in the binder. I remember saying something about she has to get it legally checked over before she hands it over to Andy and the team. I also didn't like the fact of the way that Andy tried to place down certain things, like when Chris came on stage. Yes, he tried to suss them with the basketball and talking about the basketball, but it also showed that you don't know Chris's interest. I've watched Chris a couple of times on lives with Monique. You hear him talk about football. You don't hear him talk about basketball. You're bringing up a basketball game to a guy who's heavily involved in football that doesn't participate in basketball that way. It's showing his tells, as well as Chris being straightforward on the stage about his reason why he's here. He ain't coming to play, but you play up his aggression in the way that you play down the way you're talking and your tone towards his wife and himself. Even in terms of the security guard being on stage, like, really?
I wouldn't have allowed that if I was the production team. But you know what? They probably bought and paid that for that dude from off of Craigslist. All the nasty little shenanigans that they allowed Giselle to do. And you know, Andy should be really ashamed of the way how he approached Chris Samuels and that comment that he made. We've already talked about this for 2 hours. We're going to go at this again. You're a father, Andy. Plenty of people could question the paternity of your kid, Lenny, because we still don't know how you got it.
Okay.
All right. So somebody coming after this man's family and question the paternity of his child, and then talking badly about the one that they lost.
Okay.
And you don't have no empathy for that. You should be replaced.
Now, on top of it, with that, you've got that whole, what I kept hearing Andy say was that it wasn't aired. Just because it wasn't aired doesn't mean nothing to me. You had Giselle in the confessional who had brought it up. The production company was obviously aware about the plot because it didn't air, but you guys filmed it, which means you have evidence of this plot, as well as the situation where you showed Monique and Chris on their Instagram. That wasn't on TV. That was on Monique's personal Instagram. We brought that to the forefront and chose to play that. But on the other side of it, and this is partially where the production probably gets messy, because they're the ones that are supposed to insert the clip. is that you should have inserted Candice's clip. And Candice wasn't dumb in saying that. If you listen to what she said in the clip, if people have listened to it, she wanted it to get out of there. Did you hear what she was saying in terms of the fact of, oh, I have to make myself look cute so that all the bloggers are going to pick this up? I just don't think she thought it was going to backfire in the way that it's backfired now, that it would haunt her now, rather than what she was saying earlier would just draw attention to her. But you could hear the spitefulness when somebody brought up in the chat, well, Monique's talking about you or such and such. And she was like, oh, it's not all about her. You saw the complete change in her body language and her facial structure over Monique's name being mentioned. So it just goes to show for me the continued bias and the continued, okay, well, it's okay for Candice to process things on her time when she's ready, but Monique's not allowed to do it. The brow bashing and all those kind of things. I know people have turned around and said in regards to Monique, they don't really felt like she carried the show. At the same time, you have to remember this is more than a year ago. The reunion happened within the last month. You know, Monique was dealing with a lot in terms of a high-risk pregnancy and still required to film, as well as going through a second high-risk pregnancy. So for the fact of me going through pregnancy and understanding how my pregnancy was, and I was high risk, and I couldn't do anything literally the last 4 months of my pregnancy, she was still filming. She knew later on about the plot, but she still had to have, and I heard somebody say about power dynamic. Monique still had, like, Kim Zolciak in the past has been able to walk off, kick people out of her yard, walk off set, say she's not coming back, and did anybody hold her accountable for those things when she was ready to get up and move on? Monique still had
they gave her a show. They gave her a show.
Oh yeah,
They gave her a show.
And she left mid-season. She walked off the set during a scene mid-season.
Sorry, Abalavi.
Yes, Mr. Blavi.
Okay. I agree Andy was messy, but I thought that was a good I thought that was a good question to ask all the housewives. How has your dynamic changed since the check you've gotten from the housewife? And I wish he would ask that at every reunion, because I thought that was a good question. Because a lot of these women are out earning their husbands. Now, with the whole Monique thing, my biggest issue with Monique is I find her to be extremely condescending. And I'll tell you why. I find it interesting, her and Karen, when they came on, they wanted to be the best wife you can be. We are the epitome of class and grace. And granted, you have the right to show different parts, right? But on this show, these girls have made Giselle the girl they want to be. They worship, they're not worship, but they treat her like the whole Evelyn Lozada on Basketball Wives. And they've allowed her to be disrespecting them for years. Now, I personally think that Monique was mad at Chris, and that's why she hit Candace, because her husband is problematic at best, I'll say. And I do think that Andy was being shady, and I do think that Andy has his biases. But even with Andy, I know he really wants a show with Jewish people, and I know he's been upset because that's not really taken off on Bravo, because they've had a lot of shows that just haven't taken off. I think Andy is messy, and I do think that he did come at Monique, but Monique is not likable in my opinion. She just isn't.
Okay, fair enough. You're entitled to your.
You mean from the whole time she was on the show, or just now?
The whole time. I have to be honest with you. Monique was a character that really did nothing for me. None of the girls do. Throw out the series. I think it's ridiculous they've been on the screen for 5 years.
I mean,
I like Monique.
What Abalavi is saying, because like I suppose for myself, I feel certain affinities when it comes to certain characters. We watch certain things for different reasons. Everybody doesn't always like Candy. In the past, I've liked her because of the business acumen. With money, I see an affinity, and there's certain things that I'm interested in with essential oils and aromatherapy and being a mom and being creative myself, where I feel that affinity. So I agree with you on the Andy ask certain questions to all of the cast overall over the housewives. In regards to what you were saying about Chris and Monique being angry, she's been very honest about the fact that she had a load of things that were pent up, and she was frustrated about a whole heap of things. My thing is this, yeah, I don't take well to none of this in my face or trying to flick my hair or trying to get up into my personal space. As a woman of color, I can't speak for other people. I can just speak for myself. As a black woman, I don't care who you are. I don't take kindly to your fingers in my face or flipping my hair or grabbing my jacket. Once you step into my personal space and you're doing certain things, game on. You cross the boundary. Yeah, so I can see, yes, Monique was wrong for what she did. They were both wrong for what she did. But I probably would have done that and worse, knowing how I am when you cross certain lines. And when you black out, essentially, you don't know exactly what you've done until after it, and you're trying to piece things together. Now, Candice might come from another affluent area where running her mouth is what's necessary, and I understand it to a certain extent because I remember being young. I remember at certain points when I was young and I'd get into fights. There was a period of time I used to get into fights, and literally every week my parents would come into the school, and it got ridiculous. And my parents had to sit down and have a conversation with me and says, "Queen, you need to learn to use your mouth because we can't be dealing with coming up to the school for every fight. And you've got to learn to pick and choose your battles." So after a certain time, I didn't put hands unless it was a necessity for me to put hands. But we've also seen, as time has gone on with Monique in the show, when Robin tried to run up in her face and got all hands in her face, she said it constantly, "Don't put your hands in my face. It's not going to end well." So I think can Candice hold some responsibility? They both hold responsibility for their behavior. What
No,
was
that's for
done
sure.
was not great. Obviously, I don't agree with putting hands, but I understand sometimes. I don't like to condone violence, but there's some people that's all they only understand. Sometimes the way to get through to certain people is to put their ass down. When I was little and somebody was bullying you, you put their ass down hard enough that they don't get back up and come back at you again. So I understand certain things in that regard.
Listen, it's to me, I'm on nobody's side, and I want to address something with P. This is not a colorism thing. These girls, just like on Basketball Wives, put Giselle on a pedestal. The only one who didn't do it was Karen. And that's why they care what she thinks when she's the only one who's never had a man on the show and just be reading you for filth for no reason. That is what they have allowed on this show. I don't know
Mm-hmm,
why, but they have allowed it. Because if you look at the seasons, you're seeing Giselle starting all the mess, all the confusion, and getting none of the credit. And that's because they playing a very high school rule. It has nothing
mm-hmm,
to do with her being quote unquote light skin and green eyes. This changes from show to show. You see
mm-hmm,
on Atlanta how for a long time Nene was that woman. But in these
mm-hmm,
shows, they pick a woman who they like to model their success by. And on this
mm-hmm.
show, it is Giselle.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Nene in the other one. I mean, not Nene. You've got Kenya Moore. You've got Issa Renner. Every um Housewives franchise kind of has their villain, but for me, it's like, come on, Hollywood TV. Is there no other good against evil, good guy, bad guy, villain? Are there no other storylines that can we not create? Has creativity kind of died that we can't find some more decent storylines?
Here's my thing
Very
though.
Listen,
true.
As far as Monique goes, here's the thing, and let's not revise
yeah,
history. Giselle had an issue with Monique straight from the gate. Like Giselle came for
facts.
her from day one. So let's not forget that. So Monique never put Giselle on a pedestal. They've always had their issues. So what happened is down the
No, with
line,
Monique, true, but But the other girls know. Think of Robin, Ashley, like Robin, Ashley. I mean, everybody before Monique was the first one was like, I'm not dealing with it. And then Karen went to the other side. But the other girls, they absolutely have put her on a pedestal.
Robin needs Giselle. We all know that. That's been proven season after season. Ashley was 26 and just trying to fit in wherever she could fit in. So she was gonna latch on to whoever was going to accept her. And Giselle at that time put herself out as Queen Bee. So of course she's gonna do that.
Mhm.
She, I mean, Sharice didn't really care about her. Katie had her own issues. So I don't. The only person who really put Giselle on the pedestal, in my opinion, if you want to call it that, would be Ashley at the beginning and Robin. Robin still does, most definitely. I
Mhm.
mean, Monique was just a foil for her from the gate.
Mhm.
So my thing is this: I agree. Like Monique, there's a whole table between you. Don't put your hands on somebody. Walk away. But where I come from, we do abide by the personal space bubble rule. Do not get in my personal space. You come towards me, you ask for something, you got it, you can't get mad, you take the L and you move on.
Mhm.
The first I mean that people want to forget because Monique put hands on Candace, that Candace did not invade her personal space while she was pregnant. Talking about drag me, Monique, drag me. I'm like,
Mhm.
who says that to a pregnant person? But now, fast forward, it happened because Monique had a lot of things going on. She took accountability.
Mhm.
She apologized. It happened. If Candace had not got her behind whooped on national TV, had this
Mhm.
been behind the scenes, this would not have blown up the way it blew up, and that's just the truth. Candace is only making a big deal because she got her behind whooped on national TV, and I understand that embarrassment. But at a certain point in time, you cannot keep playing this victim like you're still on medication, like you got Kleenex squares ready. I mean, I'm sorry. At some point, it's been a year. You can let this go.
My thing is this, Jamal. When it comes to like, obviously, Monique's a physical person. She got physical with Candice. Candice is a verbal person. She will, she reads
Mm-hmm.
people. When it comes to like levels within the how people talk to people, we've seen consistently for the last how many years with Candice that she talks about people being ratchet, ghetto, and hood, but the behavior that she presents, the way that she's talking to people online, is ratchet, ghetto,
Mm-hmm.
and hood. So exactly the
Ooh.
same thing that you're talking about and the way that you're using your mouth, you're using fighting words. If you're going to come at me with those kind of fighting words, be prepared to back it up. Candice to me is like that miniature chihuahua dog that thinks they're the big dog and wants to bark people down and bark people into submission. Because although in the last how many seasons Candice and Monique were having issues, all I could see from Monique in a certain aspect is her trying to be the good big sis and saying to her, yes, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't agree. This is what I feel you should do. And because Monique wouldn't side with her, here comes the browbeating. And we've seen it again with Karen, with Ashley. If she doesn't like what she's not hearing from you, I'm going to try and bark you down into submission and make sure you're on my side. That continues to show me her immaturity, that she's, you know, I don't even want to say, because people keep saying about her having a teenage mentality. And me and my daughter were here listening to some stuff. And Lioness was kind of like, don't bring us teenagers into it. I wouldn't behave like that. And I'm 14 years old and I know better. So don't class us with us. But you can see there's issues there, even in the way that Chris at the end of the reunion, when they were talking about Chris, her husband, Candice's husband, was saying the fact that she's completely changed since everything's happened and it's been a year and he wants his old wife back. This is and I don't want to downplay her victimization or the things that she's been through, but it shows that there's no in between sort of with Candice. It's from one extreme to the next. She doesn't know how to balance her relationships out with people. Look at the message that she was saying to Karen, and we don't even know the full extent of the message. She was saying that she threatened her. I don't believe Karen would say that unless there was, we heard the end of it where she was saying, what was it? Death, that she wished.
Yeah, she wished
go to
her
hell.
to go to hell, eternal hell or something like that.
But there was a whole lot more to that message that wasn't.
Right. But again, like, I think Candace tried to flip that narrative. She sent a text to Karen, I guess, angry about something, and then wished her to burn in eternal hell or something like that. And Karen was like, a friend doesn't talk to a friend like that. So she said it is in their contract that they have access to therapists. And so she contacted Bravo because she wanted somebody to talk to Candace, because it seemed out of the norm. And Candace took that as a personal affront, like you were trying to get her fired. No, she was trying to get you help.
And then the other thing for me is this, Miss Debbie. At the same time, Andy is not just Candice's boss. She's all of their bosses. So if I, as say, for instance, I'm Karen, or just me being Queen, if I've got an issue with you and you're not listening and I can see that you're being mentally affected, then I'm going to go to the boss, whether it's for my safety or to make sure that they're handling you right. That's something that a good friend, you would think a good friend would do for the right reasons, but everything Candice takes as an attack, an affront against her, when that's not people's intentions. That shows her perception of reality, which is not the same as everybody else's.
True. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people comment about Candace and trying to blame her mother for this. I don't know how true that is, but the way how a person reacts as an adult, to me, comes from how they were raised. As a single parent, I could only assume that her mother did the best that she could with Candace, but her mom seems to have issues too.
Oh yeah.
You know, so the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, in my opinion, with that mother-daughter dynamic. And maybe the therapists need to come in for both of them and help them. Maybe remove them from the show a little bit, or during the break, try to help them develop a little bit in how they communicate and interact with other people as well as themselves. That's all. It's messy. Let me bring up Ebony.
Okay.
She's a late joiner. Hi, Ebony.
Yes, I'm a late joiner. Yes. I just really want to say that I think that. Sorry.
Oops.
Yeah, no, it's me. I just want to say that I think that we should also look from the other side of Candace, because she was just reacting to what she saw, what was going on. Look at her reality. Look at her reality. Her reality is someone's attacking her. And I'm pro Monique, okay? I'm super pro Monique. But her reality is that people are her reality is that someone's attacking her and she has to react. And that's her reaction. And that's all you have to look at her reaction.
Yeah.
You have to look at it. If someone's going to attack you, you have to look at, like, I have to protect myself verbally, as well as physically. And that's what she was doing. And I do think that Giselle, as well as what's her name, the Pinky in the Brain, I call them, because that's just too classic. How Robin works with Giselle, yes, so disturbing. But I do think that they were, like, probably being a puppeteer, as Levon Gattens, he said it. He's using it as Barbies. They're being a puppeteer to Andy, but I just think that I don't want to blame Candace 100%. I think that she was just reacting to what she was being forced with to react to. You come on. If you're getting hurt, you will be forced to react to this. And you will say, no, she was hurting me. Now, I do think the timeline of being hurt should be healed. It didn't happen, or it didn't happen for her. So with that being said, but still she was reacting to what was happening at that moment. And I think that people are just excusing or like overlooking that, and we cannot overlook that. Now I know that another blogger is she wants to boycott Andy, and I think that other blogger has a point, but it only can work with if other bloggers are working with this blogger. Okay. That's the only way you can take down this situation. If the one blogger and 17 other bloggers are working with this one blogger, then you can just take down like, yeah, Andy, you were being out of control, and that wasn't cool. And I do believe he was being out of control. He was being nasty. I can't believe he kept giving Giselle buoys. Buoys mean lifesavers. I can't believe he just kept saying saving Giselle's life. He didn't make her. Oh, I'm so upset because honestly, when Teresa Giudice, she did something super illegal, whether she knew it or not, she signed her name to those papers. He gave her an episode, a whole episode. When Camille Grammer was like, I'm upset about this, he ran after her. So this is why I do think that he is like, yeah, he was definitely being biased to Monique, because he didn't really help Monique at all. But I'm just saying that if the blogger wants Andy to be to have some repercussions, that he needs to have more than just one blogger. He needs to have many bloggers.
I have a question. So you want to boycott Bravo, correct? What do you want then from Bravo?
Who's that question aimed at, Abalave?
Ebony, she said you want to.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the real answer. The blogger is out there. I'm just saying it as the blogger is out there. Yeah, what do we want to? It's probably me, but but I don't know. But I do want him to stand up and say, this is what I do want. Yes, I want him to say I was wrong for making Monique bad, looking like a bad person. I was wrong for making Monique. Is that me? Not standing up. I was wrong. I do want to say I was wrong or apologize. Yeah, because he's got a lot of people saying that he was wrong for that, and I do want him to say I can see where you're coming from.
I mean, for me, just going back to what you were saying, Ebony, I don't know if as far as I'm aware, I've never tried to downplay Candice's response to the attack. I've said it before. I don't know if it was on this channel or other channels, that in regards to people are saying about maybe her response is disproportionate to what she's going through. And my kind of thing is, well, if I've been attacked and I've been through that, then I don't know how long it's essentially going to take me to heal and get over that. But we do have to put into, I understand that at the same time, if somebody's grabbing your hair and slamming your head down on a table, that I know, say me, I'm going to grab whatever I can or do whatever I can. I'm going to bite you or whatever. Once I see black and black out, that's it, game over. So whatever happens, happens. So I can understand the whole picking up the glass and trying to, free herself. I don't want to downplay what she's been through. What I'm saying is, in regards to both of them were wrong. I'm not taking sides. Yeah, I like Monique for certain reasons, but just like any friendship, whether it's Jamal, whether it's Miss Debbie, whether it's Abalavi, if you've done something that I don't agree with, I'm going to say to you as a friend, I don't agree with how you handled that or dealt with that situation, but hey, go ahead and do what you're doing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Queen, Queen, I think that you're saying this after everything happened. In the midst of it, you don't know. You're just reacting. You're just trying to save your life.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to save her, her life. She was trying to save what the situation she was located in. She wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have all these decisions going on. She's just like, stop it. I mean, that's the main reason.
Ebony, I like, For somebody who, like, I've been through some fights in my time. I've been through situations where I've blacked out or people have attacked me. I've been attacked by 50 people. Do you get what I mean? All at one time trying to save my own life. So I understand when it comes to somebody attacking you, I'm going to do whatever necessary to free myself. So I'm not downplaying it. I'm not downplaying what Candace has been through. What I'm saying is they're both wrong for what happened, how far it went, and the way that's parts of what they did afterwards. But you can't expect Candice to have the time to process and heal and not give Monique the same regards to be able to process and heal and browbeat people into submission. If you expect apology, it should come freely. Trying to browbeat it out of somebody is not the best thing to do. Most people are going to look in the other direction because they've got how many people going at them saying to apologize. I'd prefer a natural apology, that person coming forth, rather than people trying to shout at a person that they must apologize to me for whatever was done. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. I'm just still looking at the side of Candace. So I can see where a caller calls in on a different messy show, and I can see how he's for Candace, because we're so pro Monique that we forget to be understanding of what Candace is coming from. You know, but there's just no answer. There's just no right area or right answer to come at this with. But I'm just looking at from Candace's point. It's like when someone's attacking me, the only thing I can think of is if I can pick up something to stop this person, I don't care.
Honestly, Ebony, both of them should have been fired.
No,
Both of them.
Debbie,
And
they can't be
they were
fired.
both wrong. They were both wrong.
Because
We're
Debbie,
both
we see,
wrong.
and people
And then
brought
on
this
top
so many
of it,
times, Debbie, that people have been into fights. If you're gonna fire people, you should have fired Danielle. As someone said this before, I think I've heard it.
True, but Bravo doesn't do that. You see, they were bringing back both of them next season in the hopes of probably getting a repeat. Go ahead, Jamal. I'm gonna bring up Pearl and drop down Ablavi for a minute, okay?
Here's the thing
Jamal.
I'm having a struggle with, and I'm not understanding why people don't understand this. There's no right and there's no wrong. It's called they're both wrong. And then what I'm seeing is people want to always look at for one side but not the other. It's like, no, you look at that, you take both sides, and you should meet in the middle of, well, you're both wrong. So no one's discounting what Candace went through. No one's discounting what Monique did. No one's discounting what Candace did. What we're saying is this: y'all both wrong. Period. Monique, you don't put your hands on folks. You know, Candace, your mouth is reckless. You were warned, and you got what you asked for. So, is one wrong more wrong than the other? In my opinion, I like Monique a lot. Actually, Monique is more wrong than Candace, but they are both wrong. It's just the wrongs are not equal.
Nobody's trying to downplay what Candace has been through. I don't
Mm-mm.
know what the way you've perceived. I think you've perceived what we're saying incorrectly.
No, I don't perceive it. I understand. I'm just trying to bring out the point. If I was Candace and I'm trying to save myself, that's what I'm gonna grab what I can do to stop you from hurting me. So that's what I'm just trying to say. I don't perceive it as wrong. I get we're both wrong, but I just want to bring out Candace has a point in this fight to save herself. And I just want to people understand, if you were in a scenario to save your life, you would do what you could do to stop the hurt.
Definitely.
But here's the thing, though. I have a question about that. So do you recall that Candace picked up a knife first and Wendy had to take that knife out of her hands?
Yeah, I'm not.
So
look,
from there, let me finish.
Okay.
So going from there, Monique had every right to try to save her life. If we're gonna take those extremes, because Candace was not in any mortal danger, in my opinion. There was a huge table in between them. It's just Monique was really fast at snatching Candace's wig. So I'm not. I understand where Candace could be hurt and embarrassed, and like people don't understand embarrassment can cause people trauma. So I'm not downplaying that. And I think we do a good job of understanding both sides. But I do understand your side when she's saying, like, you know, at that point when her head's getting like on the table, she's trying to grab whatever she can to like get free. So I do get that. But I just want to make sure we're taking the full context of everything and not snippets, because Wendy was Johnny on spot grabbing a knife out of Candace's hand. So you have to say, like, well, Candace picked up a knife first. She picked up a weapon. Monique was nowhere near her, but she still picked up the weapon. So at that point, Monique was in imminent danger before Wendy took the knife out of her hand. And by law, once a person picks up a weapon and points it towards you, you have every right to defend yourself in any way possible.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, I'm in regards to all the back ones as well, like whether it's Daniela, whether it's what's her name, Teresa, did she?
Yeah.
You know, Nene, Kenya, all Porsha with the fights. Yeah. Bravo loves this. They love the drama. They put extra alcohol there to get it started. Let's not, you know what I mean, play with this. You know, Bravo love this because it leaking, and even in regards to the fight, people still have to remember that within production, they've still slowed it down. They've still changed the color. They've still done certain things to make the fight look a certain way so that people are able to view it and see what's going on. Whereas in the midst of the fight, everything's going. Do you get what I'm saying? And we have to understand also the way that production. I know that some people might not understand this. I've been behind the scenes with production. My uncle has a production company that used to film, so I understand a bit more when it comes to editing, how people will try and make things look a certain way and put certain colors there to get a specific reaction from the audience. I'm not trying to downplay anything that Candace has been through. Go ahead, Jamal. Sorry.
I have a question. I have a question for everybody. Well, I'll make this statement first. I will say this for my part. I was disappointed that Bravo did offer Candace and Monique full-time contracts. For my taste, I really felt both should have been demoted for the upcoming season. You find 2 more wives to replace them. And if they behave for season 6, you bring them back for season 7. That's just my take on it. I want to know, like, how do you guys feel? Like, would you have been okay with that since both were in the wrong? Or I'll let you guys talk. I'm just curious.
Let Pearl go first on this. Go ahead, Pearl.
Honestly, I'm not. Hi, everybody. Honestly, I'm not ready for that question because I've got a whole other thing on my mind that I want to bring up. So,
oh dear,
I'll let you guys answer Jamal's question first.
Okay.
I agree with Jamal. I mean, just in general, when you look at Potomac in comparison to the other housewives, they don't have any friends, which I think is really strange. They weren't willing to invest the kind of money that they've invested into Atlanta and other ones, like you've got Marlo Hampton and that. So it would have made more sense, to bring Monique and Candice back as friends of the show and take on some other housewives, but they need either more women or more friends to round out the storylines, to be able to give it more weight. That's where I'm at with it.
Okay. Go ahead, Ebony. You're next.
Oh, okay. So I forgot. I didn't hear the question. My phone froze. What was the question
Jamal,
again?
can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. I was just saying, like, from my personal perspective, I was very disappointed that Bravo decided to offer them both full-time contracts. I would have liked them seeing them both punished, as they were both wrong. I would like to have seen them demoted to friends of for season 6, bring in 2 new housewives, and then if they behave through season 6, bring them back as full-time housewives for season 7. I would just want to know what your thoughts were.
No, I don't think that they should be punished. Punishment should be started when it first started happening. You can't ignore the first fights. You can ignore the last dramatic, the hair pull. That hair pull was real. You don't grab someone's weave. That's real. I mean, this is Another point, you grab somebody else's weed. I don't think that you should start, if you want to pull out, okay, no punishment should be administered. No, I don't think punishment should be administered until they start administering across the board. No punishment should be administered. That's how I feel. No, I don't think so. I think that Bravo has an agenda. They like the views, and they like us discussing it. And I wanted to just one more time, I'm going to say this blogger wants to boycott Bravo, and I'm almost out of Bravo too, not because of this. It's just because it's just not getting interesting, and it's becoming fighting. I want to watch Beverly Hills of Housewives of Beverly Hills because of Kathy Hilton. I want her to take out Rinna, and I want her to expose Girardi, but it's getting dry. But I know I don't want them to. Nope. I don't want them to do anything, any type of like any punishment at all. I don't think it should. No, until they do it across the board, or to the first one, especially Teresa. I'm just so against Teresa Giudice. She just did so much stuff. You guys are like ignoring it. She was a part of a lot of fights. She really was.
I don't think it's us, the audience, who's ignoring it, because we're realizing that there's a pattern here, and Bravo is promoting women tearing down other women, even to fisticuffs. We're allowing that. They're seeing our reactions, and they're like all up in it, but enough is enough. It should have like some sort of repercussion should have started back when Teresa Giudice pushed her boss down on the reunion. Mm-hmm. But there was no punishment for that. But again, as a woman, do I like seeing women fighting and tearing each other down and saying lies against other people's families and stuff like that? No. Mm. It's not cool. Like, I wouldn't do that in my personal relationships. I wouldn't even do that like to you guys here. Why? What would it benefit me to tear you guys down? But it benefits Bravo because it brings in ratings. It gives them money from their advertisers. And I find that they found the big cash cow is when the women of color are the ones getting into these arguments, because it accelerates to a physical interaction. And we got to stop being stupid about this. We really do. I'm not telling anybody to boycott anybody else. What I'm saying is, look at what is on the screen being shown to you. And if it's not what you do in your regular day-to-day life with your family, with your friends, why would you accept that as a form of entertainment? Mm-hmm. I respect most people until I'm not respected, and there's a line that I have for entertainment on the television, and seeing two women of color beating themselves up because some producer in the background is pushing and taunting and trying to create a situation for entertainment fodder doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth. Just like the reunion didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. It's very disappointing. In this year where we had so many bad things happening, so many, I found this to be the year of the woman. Women played such a huge role this year, from creating vaccines to distributing vaccines, to becoming the first female vice president, to leading a coalition to flip a state called Georgia, to resurrecting a political campaign and leading him to victory. I'm not saying yay to either party. And what I'm trying to focus on is what women have done. And this is insulting to me, what Bravo's doing. Yeah. That's all. And I know I sound a little bit too preachy or whatever, and I'm very sorry, but it's just how I feel. And, we're here like debating who's wrong, who's right. Everyone has the right to defend themselves. And I get that. But I just don't want to be played the fool by Bravo. And I don't have to watch it if it's not it's not something that I would condone in my own life.
Listen, Miss Debbie, you preach, girl. You preach up in here. No, exactly what you're saying is what I'm feeling.
It's very disappointing.
Because it's like,
yeah,
it's
sad.
into the gutter. We expect it from Love and Hip Hop. We expect it, and even I don't like even really seeing it on there. But this is the level that Bravo, in terms of quality, has dropped to. I don't want to see women continually beating each other up. I want to see women working together. Like even in terms of Robin and the business with the hats and stuff like that, that could have been done so much better in terms of Karen's wig line, and you know what I mean, really bringing a true sisterhood into this reality sham, which is basically what it's turned into.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm gonna bring everybody up and do final thoughts. Pearl, I'm gonna let you go first because I know you had some things you had on your mind that you wanted to share. Please go ahead, Pearl.
Okay. Right. What I was going to say is, first of all, just as a disclaimer, I didn't watch the reunion, and I don't think I watched the last 2 episodes because I think I was tired of the season in Potomac. But I will say this. Candace did not do anything to deserve the beating she got. I disagree with everyone. I do not think it's 50-50. I don't think it's 75-25. I'm putting 100% on Monique. And I'm going to leave it at that. And then down to the thing about the knife. Okay, that is the most ridiculous thing. I'm sorry. She picked up a butter knife and she was clicking her glass like you do when you're about to make a speech. If you're telling me that Monique felt threatened at the fact that she picked up a butter knife to click her glass, that is not an attack in any way, shape, or form. That is the lamest defense I have heard. I'm not buying that. She was not attacking or threatening Monique with that knife. No, Jamal, I'm just
I'll answer it.
She was not attacking Monique in any way, shape, or form with that knife. That is not even an issue. And when Wendy took it out of her hands, it was all in light fun. It was all in light fun. Just a throwback to her incident with Ashley. It was all in light fun. That was not Candace attacking or threatening Monique. She was half drunk. She was saying how, oh, I love Monique. Oh, we are best friends. Oh, even when she pretends to fall asleep, I still love. She was not being aggressive. She was not attacking Monique. And throughout the season, I've said this countless times, throughout the season, Candace has been the most upstanding person. She's been polite. She's been apologetic. She apologized to Monique 100 times. Monique had a problem with Candace. And Monique went after Candace. She was waiting for the moment to go after Candace. And if we're going to talk about the whole, do you want to drag me thing? Well, if I tell you, do you want to jump off a cliff? Are you going to jump off a cliff? No, Monique threatened to drag her. So she said, well, are you going to drag me now? Is this the place you're going to do it? That is not asking for it. Monique is 100% responsible for that attack because violence is not acceptable. Now, back to what Ebony said about looking at Candace's perspective. As far as Candace knew, right on to the point she went to court, 1, Monique hadn't reached out to her. 2, Robin came to her house and told her that Monique said she had no remorse. So when you're looking at it from her perspective, you just got beat up. This girl is on Twitter doing fist pumps with people about beating you up, and she's telling the group of women that she has no remorse. I wouldn't have waited for that. I would have gone to court the next day, the next freaking day. So looking at her perspective, she's being made a fool of, and her pride is hurt, and she has every legal right to go to court. And also, if you attack me, whatever happens to you after that is self-defense. There is no court that is going to blame me for throwing a wine glass at you while you've got my head in a headlock. No. That is not a case. So that is I'm so tired of people trying to kiss Monique's backside by saying, oh, Candace is to blame. No. Take responsibility. I don't hate Monique. I don't hate Candace. I don't love anybody. I'm not a groupie. I just watch television and I tell you how I see it. And that's how I see it. And hopefully they come back next season as grown-up adults. If they're coming back next season, I don't really know. But that's it for me for this season and this Potomac issue. And then also, I wanted to talk about the whole thing about Bravo promoting violence. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop because I cannot stand the behavior there. I think it's degrading to African American women. I think it's degrading to women in general to see people just fight every 5 minutes. I haven't, like I said, I've never watched it. I have a best friend who watches it religiously and I can't stand it. So it's not, there has to be some responsibility on these women that are fighting. You can't just say, oh, Bravo is promoting it. Well, then don't fight. Just don't fight. If you want to fight, do it when the cameras are turned off. But if you're going to fight in front of a camera, you cannot blame a TV station for putting it out there. Just don't freaking fight. And that's all I have to say, really.
Thank you, Pearl. Jamal, you had some comments?
I'll respond. So basically, the way it works in our law is that when you're in a heated discussion and you pick up any sort of weapon, doesn't matter what it is, that is considered a threat. So from the moment Candace picked up that butter knife, Monique can argue that she felt threatened. And she had the right to defend herself, which is what I said. So, also, Wendy grabbed the knife immediately out of Candace's hand. If there was no threat, danger, whatever, I don't think Wendy would do that. Because the look on Wendy's face was like, nah, we're not doing this. And she snatched the knife. I've always said from the beginning that Monique was wrong. I've held that stance from the very beginning. Because Candace was a whole table away. She was just talking a lot of mess. And there was no reason to put hands on her. I've always said if I were Monique's position, I would walk away because it's not that deep for me. Monique had a whole bunch of other issues she was going through. She admitted that. Candace just caught it. Now, that being said as well, where I come from, words are considered pretty much weapons. So when you continue to try to say things, do things, whatever, you get what you get. And I understand that not everyone was raised those in environments. So that's why I can understand Candace, in a way, her feelings being hurt, that's so totally embarrassing. She got beat up on national TV. I'm nowhere near downplaying what she went through. But all I'm saying is she's not completely blameless in this situation. And that's just my perspective. Because I think Monique was just, if we doing percentages, I'm giving Monique about 95% wrong, because that's not the appropriate way to react. Candace, I will agree with you on this, Pearl. Candace did her best all season not to even engage Monique. And we all can see that Monique completely overreacted in every situation. Like, Monique, girl, it's not that deep. She's walking away. Why are you keeping it going? Let it go. But Monique was just so in her feelings and so mad at her friend for the things that she's heard that it just built up, and she was wrong about the way it came out.
Can I say something? Pearl, on top of it, you have to remember, since it's gone legal, if you start apologizing for certain things, then it can be seen as an admission of guilt in court. And then there's the legal ramifications. So it's not as simple as you're saying. And then with all the proceedings that are happening and the way that the judge has to take all the raw footage and go through everything and make a decision, it's more complex than some of us as viewers understand.
Okay, just to interrupt you really quickly. When I said apologize, I didn't mean after going to court. I meant before, once it happened, and then it probably most likely would not have gone to court. If she had simply gone woman to woman or used an intermediary or a counselor and apologized through a third party, then I don't think Candace would have taken it to court. But if we're saying that, okay, if you do something wrong, don't apologize, so that if it does go to court, then you can't be held accountable, even though you are accountable, then I don't agree with that at all.
I'd like to say, on the whole intermediate thing, as far as I'm aware, Monique tried to mediate through her lawyers, and I don't know if I heard this right. They didn't want to turn up to the meetings.
I'm talking about before lawyers were involved, before anyone went to file anything.
Pearl, that's a valid point. And this is where Bravo's therapist, after this fight happened, the Bravo therapist should have been sent to both parties to try and mediate and tamp this down and hopefully get an apology out of both of them before attorneys were called. Because once the attorneys are called, those attorneys are going to tell their clients, clam up. I'm representing you now. I'll deal with this. Don't say anything to that other person. And I think, you know, if Bravo had taken the step of putting in their therapist in this situation, because I think this is the perfect situation for a therapist to step in and try to mediate, it probably wouldn't have gotten to the courts. And I could see that, you know, part, because they could have both said that they were sorry. You know, Monique should have went first because she's the one, you know, who was the aggressor. A lot of things, but you know, 2020, you know, hindsight is 2020. They could have done a lot of things better. I just don't think they did.
And I just want to say as well, Monique chose not to apologize because everyone was telling her to apologize. Karen told her to apologize. You know, Wendy was trying to tell her to take accountability and have some remorse. People were I'm sure Chris, her husband, probably tried to tell her to apologize. They probably spoke to a lawyer, or they spoke to a pastor. Everybody was telling Monique to apologize, but she kept on refusing to. So that was her choice. And because she refused to do that, that is why Candace went to court. So I don't blame her at all for going to court. That was her legal right.
No, and you're correct.
Question, though.
You're correct. But everybody processes emotions differently and on a different timeline. So that could be the issue for both of them. Go ahead, Jamal.
I have a question. My thing is this, like, and I blame not editing, the show, and I blame the show as a whole for this, because I've been in a couple fights. I know people who've been in fights. I've never heard someone being sorry for whooping somebody's behind a week later. I've never seen someone have remorse a week later. A month later, yes, and this is where I agree with Pearl. I think, in my personal opinion, a month is a good amount of time to be like, you know what? I shouldn't have did that to her. Let me go apologize. And apologize for yourself, not for that person, because you are taking accountability for what you did wrong. But you know, for her not to apologize until a year later, I can understand why people are upset. But the fight happened a week later. They wanted her to be remorseful. I just don't see that happening in real life. I'm sorry. So when people are browbeating you a week after you hurt somebody and they're trying to force you to apologize, that's going to make you dig in your heels even more.
Yeah.
But you know who did apologize straight afterwards? Sorry, just last thing. Who did apologize straight afterwards was Porsha. Right after she dragged Kenya, literally the next second she was on the floor crying and apologizing. And she was saying to Andy, I don't know what came over me. I apologize. She laid it on the table and she still ended up being demoted, you know, to a friend of the show. So that was someone who took some accountability, even though she still blamed. Even though in that situation, Kenya was more at fault than Candace is in this situation, Porsha still, you know, I'm sorry. I've done wrong. Yes, I was provoked, but I did wrong. And she laid it all out there. She still took a punishment. She took her punishment, came back strong. And that's why I admire Porsha. I hope Monique learns from it. I hope Candice learns from it, you know, but I wouldn't be having any friends like that, I'm telling you.
So I have a question. I have one question on that.
Yeah.
So you say Kenya was more wrong on Porsha. I can see that. So if Monique had apologized sooner, would you look at Monique differently? Do you think?
Yes. And to be honest with you,
Okay.
in the beginning, when she refused to apologize, I really built up an animosity towards her. But after she spoke to her pastor and she cried and she showed us some remorse, then I thought, okay, fine. There is some human being in there. But at that time it was too late. Like Candice was already hurting. Like she had already gone to court. So at that point it was just too late.
Gotcha. So for you, it's more the length of time. Okay, got it. Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I think she should have apologized, but like we've been saying, if somebody's browbeating you and you've got a whole production, whole of Bravo, whole of the internet, I'm a stubborn person. I'm not going to apologize for something if I don't agree with it. I'm not going to sit there and give out a fake apology just to make everybody feel better about themselves and for Candice to feel better about herself. I'd rather she tell the truth about how she felt, and Monique was keeping it real. We might not have liked it, but Monique was being real about where she was at with it. Straight after the fight, she had family staying over. She had to go and do a whole heap of promotions. She barely had time with 3 kids, a husband, and everything that she was dealing with to process things. Plus, she blacked out. As somebody who's previously blacked out before in the middle of a fight, it took me months to remember what actually happened and what actually took place. And for me to, come to terms and really register everything. And then when I realized that I was wrong, I apologized. But I don't agree with people just apologizing for the sake of apologizing. That don't make no sense to me, because then
okay,
it's
I gotta step in. I gotta step in. Okay, flag on the play. I'm done. I'm done. We've discussed this out this week. I am done. We call it a draw. I'm done. I don't care who was right. I don't care who was wrong. I wish both girls the best. I cannot take this no more. This show was not that interesting to be dissecting this for hours of my life. It just wasn't.
And on that note, any final thoughts? Blobby?
I'm sorry, but I'm just over it. Final thoughts. I really wanted to get in the year because I really wanted to talk about Iggy Azalea and other things. But I'm not the only one. It's a group effort. So enjoy your conversation. I have to go because I can't take it no more. I can't take it.
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow with your favorite show, Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Right?
You can call us and tell us how boring the show is and how much you hate everyone.
I'm going to be honest with you. Salt Lake City. Oh, shout out to Jamal. I forgot to tell you this. Congratulations for winning the Real Bravo Andy's Bravo.
The Housewife Hunger Games.
Housewife Hunger Games.
Yes.
Shout out to you.
Thank you.
You're a true MVP of it. And I will see you tomorrow. And I am going to bring up that Iggy. And I got exclusive. I got a video of Yara when she was on television when she was 19. But that would be for next week.
What about Iggy Azalea? Because I'm not familiar.
Oh, you got to watch her. Type in Iggy Azalea and her Christmas rant. That is
Christmas rants. Okay, Iggy. All right, I'll be prepared for tomorrow. Okay, all right, dear. Bye. Okay. Final thoughts, Pearl.
Okay, my final thoughts. I am with Ablavi on the fact that this has been beaten to death. Everyone's going to have their opinion, but I just don't think that if you've tried to do the right thing the whole time and you get assaulted, I don't think that people should sort of blame you for it, especially if you've really, really gone to such lengths to be a better person, which is what I truly believe that Candice did. And I believe in accountability. And I believe in forgiveness. I don't believe in false apologies. So when I said Monique should have apologized, I was hoping it would be a genuine apology, not a fake one. Otherwise, you can keep your apology. But anyway, I guess you're right. People might take different lengths of time to process things. But I still don't think Monique ever gave Candice an apology for beating her up at any point in time. So it just goes down to the fact that I don't like to see women fight, not in such violent manners. I do believe in uplifting the female gender, and I do believe in girl power, and I love everything you said, Debbie, about all the things that women have accomplished in 2020. I think that we need to see more shows where you have women who have overcome things and have become successful And I've said this before, not just because they married an athlete or an actor or someone rich or an old 80-year-old, but because they built themselves out of nothing, whether they have 4 degrees or they have no degrees. That's what I want to see on television, stuff that's going to empower women. So with that said, for me, I forgive Monique. I forgive Kenneth. Hell, I forgive Giselle. And I hope next season. I hope next season is. I get that Monique was going through a lot with the whole rumors about her family. I wouldn't want to be in that boat, but don't direct your anger at the wrong person. If you want to punch someone, punch the woman that you brought into your house that tried to sleep with your man. That's the person you need to take your frustrations out, not someone that saw you as a sister. That was deep. I think that was what really hurt them the most. But yeah, let's hope that next season is better and they have more storylines.
Yes, agreed.
Yes, they're agreed.
And
they should all fight in Johannesburg.
Yeah, we have to find time to do that as well. And Vancouver and Cheshire. We're so behind. It's the holidays.
Vancouver's going to be a pre-record anyway, so we'll be fine.
Okay. Well, Pearl, will you join us tomorrow? Oh, okay, go ahead, Jamal.
Pearl, are you watching Cheshire this season by chance? Okay.
I'm a season behind. I'm literally a season behind on Cheshire, which is why I haven't joined Shan on her channel. But I'm still on the previous season, and I haven't had time to complete the previous season and get into the next season. But yeah, Cheshire's the best, guys. Go check it out.
Yeah, I just started season 12. And said, this is where I'm starting. And so far, I'm 2 episodes in. Right now I'm loving Hannah. So
you're 2 episodes
so far so good.
in? I haven't even seen one yet. I feel like such a loser.
It's good.
I gotta find time.
So far so good. Can
I say, to Abalavi, I know how to get rid of you now. Just talk about Potomac and everything that's going on. She disappears. I'm joking. I want to say, I want to give a round of applause to Mr. Chris Samuels, for how he handled himself, for how he conducted himself. I know he apologized. I like the fact that he apologized for what he said on the live, though I agree with what he said. I think anybody would have not anybody, some people would have said it. I probably would have said the sort of things that Chris said and worse. And the fact that he was there at the reunion to support his wife, that he wanted to find out about what was going on because he wanted the truth, that he found forgiveness, and the way that he upheld his wife in the midst of everything that was going on. I thought that was a really beautiful moment and a nice end to, with everything that's kind of been going on this year with Black Lives Matters and everything else, and the way that in regards to the community that we see Black men being teared down. It was a nice positive image to me to see that at the end of the year. I agree with what I think I saw part of Trey's comment. She was saying something about in the contracts when it comes to fights, there should be something in that, and I agree with that. And I just want to wish everybody a happy new year as we go into things.
Yes. You two have been a mainstay for us from the beginning, and we hope it continues into 2021, which will hopefully again be another year of the woman.
Yes, and thank you guys for being such awesome hosts. This channel has been literally, honestly, it's been the best. I've enjoyed. Thank you for allowing me to come on here and rant with my weird opinions and stuff. But I love this channel. I hope you guys are great next year as well.
Yeah, anytime. Because
the opinions are not weird at all.
Yeah, like, I mean, I talk a lot of rubbish from out in left field, so don't think that any of your opinions are weird at all. It's just another viewpoint and one that you might sway me over to. Someone said you'd make a great mediator in the chat, and I agree with that. Can
I sway you over to Ziad and Rebecca's team?
No.
No. But see, okay, for me, I just don't care about them on this show. I want them to have. all the older couples need to go over to their own show and not be with the new people.
No, they need
And I want
not
to see
come
Zia
back
frying
for a
chicken.
second season. Period. You were boring the first season. You're boring again.
Oh man.
And no
Oh
amount
my
of fried
goodness.
chicken from the chicken shack is going to make you any more, interesting.
Maybe more T-shirts with
Oh
faces
my
on it, like
goodness.
No.
photoshopped faces on
No
it.
bedspreads, no debit cards, no PlayStations with anybody's faces on it, no cups, no plates, no nothing. That is so weird. Like, I don't own anything with anybody's face on it. I don't love anybody that much. Ugh, I know. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Can I just say
that's
something's just
fine.
popped into my head in regards to
Yeah.
this boycott? I think before people get to the point of boycotting, we need to understand what it is that you're boycotting about and what it is that people want moving forward and
Mhm.
find some accord, because everybody's got a different reason for why they want to boycott. Do you get what I mean? Just in terms of movements and stuff like
Yeah.
that, people have got to
Mhm.
come together and kind of what are the list of demands? Do you get
Yeah.
what I mean? So that there's some flow moving forward to what we want to see changed, if that's the way people are going to go.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
agree with
Debbie.
that.
Listen, your opinions are not left field. We're all here because we enjoy them, and I've learned so much from all of you guys. And different opinions give me different perspective of looking
Yeah.
things at a different way, and I've learned so much because of it. So thank you to you guys and everybody else in the chat. Happy New Year as well.
Thanks,
Yes, happy New Year.
guys. We'll see you soon.
Are you back
Bye.
tomorrow? Sorry, are you back
Yes,
tomorrow?
yes, with
Oh, okay.
Salt Lake City, Ablavi's favorite show.
Okay. I'm not sure if I will be here because it's really going to be close to midnight here. I've
Oh,
got stuff to do. So, but anyway,
Oh.
happy New Year. Probably see you in the
Happy
new year.
New Year. You can see us on the
Happy New
replay.
Year.
Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
everybody. Bye.
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 Okay, Jamal. Yay.
Hey, another great show in the books. This has been amazing. So
This was
I
such a
guess that's
fun
it.
conversation. I swear. I
Oh
learned so
yeah.
much from everybody who calls in, people in the chat. Again, you have made this year bearable for me.
Oh,
And
likewise.
I truly appreciate it. It's good that I found a place where I can talk to someone or someone's and not
Hmm.
feel, bad. So
Right.
has been an amazing outlet for me, and I cannot thank you guys enough.
Same. Like this makes the day go by. Like who knew YouTube was gonna be so great? I had no clue. I'm honest. I use YouTube for music. That's it.
I would have never thought
But
I
now,
would have been on YouTube. It was just not in my
oh,
wheelhouse at all.
likewise.
Life is so strange.
Likewise. I mean, exactly. But it worked out, and we found some new shows. I mean, this is
Hmm.
exciting. So
I made some new
I'm
friends.
excited to see like what happens moving forward and new friends and yeah, like
Hmm.
it's been a journey, but it's still going and still great. So I say keep it going.
Yep. Alrighty then. Until tomorrow. Bye for now.
Yep. Bye.